What's going on, fantasy football fans? It's your boy Jordan, and we're back with another B3FL official podcast. Baby, with 1 week left to go into playoffs, we have quite a barn burner in both the Championship League and the Farm League. This season has been amazing. I've loved watching the growth of some of our newer owners. I've loved watching the rise and fall of some of our vets. This season has had so many storylines that I am thrilled to be able to cover it week to week with you guys. This has been amazing to watch. So we've got some stuff to get into this week. We got updated power rankings. We've got a new playoff picture. We have major upsets in the Farm League. We've got huge upsets in the Championship League. Oh baby. So without further ado, let's get into this week's playoff, or last week's primetime game of the week. And that starts us off with Zach Tickle facing Connor Pico, Yokiro Tackle Bell facing the Quinnell Quicksand. Connor was able to edge out Zach with a 98-94 win. Connor was led by Gronk, who scored almost 20 points last week. He had a massive performance. It kind of brings us back to the heyday of Gronk and Brady, giving audibles on the sidelines. But it was fun to watch these guys. Connor as a whole, his team has kind of been performing. There's no weak spots. He's got some weak players, but it's not like a whole core of his team is just not doing well. He's had some bright spots. He's been trending up in the right places. He's been on a winning streak. He's now won 3 straight games, which is huge. Zach falling after a couple of really good, solid performances over the past couple weeks. He was the high voltage player the week before that. And so this was a little bit disappointing. He fell into like the bottom half of the league for points for this week. Both players did actually, but Connor was able to edge him out, and this was crucial as it gave Connor an opportunity to move into first spot, and we'll get into the updated playoff picture. But that's what this looks like. Connor, congratulations, you won. Huge game. Major win. I'm sure that the boys in the locker room are probably buzzing. So great job there. I want to move into like one of the largest upsets this week, and this was the large penis team. Now Tom has purposely ranked Liam very low in the power rankings, and I'm not sure why. Liam has a unbelievably high points for, despite his 4-win record. Tom came out, underestimated him. He got a little cocky. The Bears are who he thought they were, and he probably just let them off the hook. But Liam, oh my God, dude, 154 points. You led the league in scoring. You're the highest scorer this week in this farm league, and kudos to you. You had multiple players getting well above 20 points. Matt Stafford, Javonte Williams. I just want to make sure I get that right. Yep, Javonte Williams. He sewered me in another league, so a little sour about his performance. Cooper Kupp and David? Is it David? Dallas Goedert. Now, that's a great team win across the board. 154 points. You'll win every game putting up that. But Tom, dude, I've been watching your team, and you know what? You're not a first place team. You probably deserve to be in the middle along with effort wins, maybe the Fantasy Fisters. I'm more impressed with Lambeau Leap Squad, who's been putting together some solid wins. Lambeau Leap Squad beating Papa T this week, which was a huge step up. We had the battle of 7-win teams. They were both 7-5. Ty coming up on top, which was a massive win. It doesn't mean much in terms of standing, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But Tom, dude, I would put you below Quinnell Quicksand. I would put you below Lambeau Leap. I put you below Papa T. I don't think your team is that good, and this week was like the pinnacle of what I think how you're going to perform in playoffs. So you gotta do something. Get your boys in order. Give them a pep talk. Get people to tweet them on Twitter, like talking shit to them. I don't know what you gotta do, but you gotta fix this pretty fast because last 2 weeks you've been in the middle to lower. Well, this week was the lowest. Last week you were in the middle of pack in terms of scoring. That's not what you want going into playoffs, and especially you have a huge game coming up this week, and we'll get into the future games a little later on. But I keep talking about the fantasy or the playoff picture, and one game that really shaped it was Alpha Legion's loss. He had an opportunity to actually squeeze into playoffs, especially with Zach's loss this week. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to seal the deal over Ricky, who just doesn't change his players, but is a draft king. This dude has 7 wins, hasn't changed a single player in his lineup. Darrell Henderson's not playing. He wasn't supposed to play. Just doesn't change him, but because he drafted so good, he's still able to score a lot of points. So, nice job, Rick, I guess. I don't even know if you watch this podcast, but whatever. And then another surprise out of nowhere was the Lord's team. This team has put in a bunch of good weeks at the end of the year, and it's too bad because if this was 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks ago, yeah, you know what, you're gonna make a really strong case on why you should be in playoffs. But unfortunately, as just a little too late. So you're gonna miss the playoffs this year. It's just that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. So let's get into the I gotta figure out how to get there. Yeah, let's get into the playoff picture. So we have the overall, and it's the top 7 teams. So we know that Connor and Tom, basically Connor has the head against Tom. So if Tom wins this week, he secures first spot. He moves into the championship league next year. If he loses this week and Connor wins, Connor has to win. If Connor wins, then Connor has the head-to-head, and he will move into playoffs. So it's a small chance for Connor, but there is a chance because those two things need to happen. All of the other games, so every other team has secured. So Yokero, Fantasy Fisters, Effort Wins, Papa T, you guys are all in, and Lambo Leap Squad, you guys are all in playoffs. There's no way you can get kicked out. But one caveat being, it's just like, it just matters on who you play. And in order to move into the championship league, you basically just have to win your first round of games. That first round where let's say if season ends today, Quinnell, Quicksand, you get to play Yokero, Taco Bell, Lambo Leap Squad, Fantasy Fisters, Papa T, and Effort Wins. And all of these, you just basically have to win your first game, and that's how you will move into the championship league next year. That's how you'll get promoted. If you lose that first game of playoffs, then you're out. Then you stay in the bottom division. So there's lots of opportunity. It's basically just a 1-game playoff, which kind of makes it super interesting. And then obviously whoever wins the overall jackpot moves into or whoever wins first in the playoffs gets the jackpot at the end. So that's what the farm league looks like. I'm happy. I think this is kind of who we thought was going to move in. I'm a little disappointed that Liam is out because he's actually he's better than Effort Wins and the Fantasy Fisters in terms of points for. I think he just got unlucky having a huge, massive points against all year. So, and I know it's not the worst because the Lord's team has more points against, but at the very least, he's putting up a large amount of points for. He's better than Quinnell, better than these two teams. He's better than Yokero, Taco Bell. It's just unfortunate that you probably played teams at their best weeks. So that's all I'm gonna say. If you stay with us, we got the championship league coming right up. Okay, so moving into the championship league, I'm going to start with our highest scorer, Jordan Ivney. Jesus.
Bruh.
You've scored so many points. 152 points. You almost matched the top scorer in the other league, point for point. Without PPR, might I add. Just a phenomenal just absolutely phenomenal performance this week. 152 points. You cannot go wrong with that. You were led the way by Kyler Murray, who I think was in contention for MVP this year before he got hurt. Now I think it's looking like it has to be Tom Brady. I don't know what other player you could give the MVP to, but with TB12 leading the league in passing and passing yards and passing touchdowns, it's just, I think that's just his year. Anyways, Kyler Murray, he performed for you. He balled out last week, 30 points. Jonathan Taylor helps that you have the number one back too. So your team is looking solid. I do not want to face this team moving into playoffs next year. You have Javonte Williams, who has been. You know what? I'm sour about this. I watched that Denver game because I was playing Jordan in a different league where he picked him up to, and it basically Javonte Williams had basically almost no points until like 8 minutes left in the fourth, or 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter, when Kansas City's defense went into a prevent defense because they're winning by 3 touchdowns, and they're just like, well, as long as they don't get deep balls, and then they just started throwing, and Teddy Bridgewater doesn't throw the ball deep, so he just threw check down to check down to check down to check down, and in garbage time, Javonte Williams was able to rack up a touchdown, which was massive. So that sewered me in the other league. Jordan, this one helped you out here too, but you didn't need much help. Ryman was, oh man, I don't know, Ryman, what you're doing. Your bench is empty. All of your players didn't perform. You're looking a little sus going into playoffs. I would be worried. Obviously Stephon Diggs is a star, but the wind game on Monday night, that proved to be a detriment. And I think your Broncos defense actually is pretty good. They as a defense as a whole, they're pretty solid, but like there's lots of questions in and around here. Like, this is not a stat line you will ever want. He's averaging, even if I just ballpark it, anywhere between 3 and probably 3 to 4 points every game if you include the zeros. So, this is not bode well for you. I wouldn't want this going into playoffs. That is not the foot I want to stand on. That's not the leg I'd like to stand on. So, hopefully you're doing well. But Jordan, Jesus, you are absolutely crushing it, dude. Hard to argue with 152 points, 5th win in a row. You have been hot. You knew how to time your team right up for playoffs, bro. Like, it's ridiculous. So, let's move into the. We had a huge upset this week, and actually, it has big playoff implications. Grugel ended up beating Hillbilly Kalen, and he smoked him. 115 points by the. I think it's the weakest team because Dan, I think, has got 4 wins. Marty, with only 1 win going into this, managed to beat Hillbilly Kalen's and put up a dominating performance. And when I looked at his team in the beginning of the year, I thought that this was kind of the performance that I could expect almost day in and day out. He had some injury. Guys got injured. Some guys got hurt. And he just couldn't put it all together all at the same time. It was just a mismatch of players coming in and going out. And unfortunately, he just wasn't able to string any wins together. This division's been hard because all the teams have been winning. But Hillbilly Kalen, Scott, I don't know. Your running back situation is not good. Like, just flat out not good. If I look at your bench, it's not much better. So work on it. Playoffs are coming up soon. We're going to move into the playoff prediction or the playoff picture in a sec because it gets kind of crowded. But I'll show you. So actually here, we can do that right now. So here, basically, I'm sitting at the top at 9-4. I won my game last week against, I think I played Rafi Bomb. Eric, yeah. Yeah, I did. So sucks to be Eric, but he's already out of playoffs, especially with that loss. So too bad, so sad, Eric. So we'll look at Division 1. I'm at top of the whole league right now at 9-4. If I win, I secure the top spot. I think there might be a small prize for whoever comes in first. We'd have to check with the commissioner. I think he announced it in the original. It's probably in the Discord post. Anyways, if I win, I secure first spot. If I lose, there's a possible tie. There's a possibility of 5-team tie for top spot. So that's insane. We'll see how that plays out. I'm sure the commissioner's gonna have to probably make a statement in case that happens. But I would bet you that if I'm just looking at it, no. See, the problem is that Jordan plays me, which would knock me down. I chase young kids. Okay, so we could have a 4-way tie for first. If Jordan beats me, Jared plays on his own. Matt plays Jake Sucks, which means that Yeezus walks with me. He plays Dan, so that he can win on his own. There's a possibility of a 4-way tie for first, either Jared or Ryman, depending on who wins that game. It is Jared. No, it's Matt and Ryman. Depending on who wins that game, could be tied for first. In which case, then we'd have to work out who plays who. But everything else is almost a guaranteed lock. Kalen, so Jake has the head-to-head against Kalen. So Kalen was knocked out of playoffs. Jake, you are guaranteed in with your win last week over Matt Dally. That was a huge win. And I know you were a little bitter. Jake was posting on Discord. He went on to Twitter, and he's a little pissed because we'll talk about the power rankings in a sec, but he wasn't happy with those. So now with those sealed, I think if Zach wins and Scott loses, so here for this spot, 4 teams are allowed to make playoffs. So if Scott loses and Zach wins, Kalen loves the Dallas Cowboys, Scott Hillbilly Kalen. Zach wins, Scott loses. Zach has the head-to-head because he beat him. So he would move into that playoff spot. Again, unlikely. But if we look at the relegation playoffs, which actually have huge implications. So we have in the top division, we have the Cameramen, reigning champs relegation, and Grugel. So Kalen, Mike Bell, and Marty. All 3 of these guys are fighting for their lives. Now, if you finish in the bottom 2, you will need to win both games in relegation. You need to basically make it to the relegation champion. Whoever it is, actually, the people who don't get promoted make it to the relegation championship. So if you're, let's say the season ends today, if you're Marty and you want to stay in the championship division, you have to win both your games. Mike, you'd have to win both your games. Kalen, you get a bye. So because you would get a bye, you only have to win 1 game to get into the championship. On the bottom, now it's the same kind of format. It's just a matter of if it's Hillbilly Kalen or Kalen loves the Dallas Cowboys, and could be either or. But it's just a matter of whoever's in this top seed only has to win 1 game. Their 1 playoff game. The people down here, Dan and Eric, you guys have to win both to stay up here. So that's it. That's what we're looking at for playoff picture. A lot of things are set in stone. Now it's just a matter of who finishes where. So congrats, guys. We made it through almost a whole season. This is the final week to showcase what you got. Looking just at win trending, play boldly. You've been doing amazing, Jer. Crazy comeback. I thought Jared was down and out. I thought his team was shit. Somehow turned it around from 4-5 to 8-5. Huge. Omar's been trending down. Ryman's been trending down. So I love to see the fluctuations in this league. There's a lot of stories going around. I would love to see the rise and fall of Tom. as he was getting cocky. So we'll see. There's a lot at stake left with one game left. We're gonna go into the power rankings and see how all these trending lines have moved over the course of the year. All right, so let's look at the power ranking. I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff on the side. Can you, if you guys, yep, we can still hear me. Okay, so we've had some major flips this week. Tom keeps falling. He lost last week. He scored a season low. It wasn't looking good. So rightfully so, he fell a couple spots. Jared and Jordan Ivany, as they keep proving that they are like nothing to F with. I know my mom watches the show, so we're keeping this PG. Those two guys have been rolling, and B playoff, like that second division playoffs, looks top. Division 2, that's a tough group of individuals to go through. That's the gauntlet. I've not moved at the top spot, so, but some noticeable trend lines. Connor Pico, bro, you've been trending up. Here we can go into some of the graphs. Connor, your score has been trending up, and I mean, at one point you were pretty close to top. You're like right in neck and neck with some of the top teams in the league. You stumbled a little bit, but recently you've been able to pick it back up. And with a huge win last week over Zach, I think rightfully so. Coming in clutch, moving up in the power rankings. You jumped 4 spots this week. But on the flip side, Omar, bro, since you've been on the podcast, you haven't been doing that well. It's now you're now fallen 4 spots. You lost last week, and your team looks vulnerable. It doesn't look like all that dangerous moving into playoffs. I think it's shown that that Division 2 actually, despite the first division having better records most of the year, despite our division, that top one, Division 1, having better records most of the year, Division 2 is quickly proving why they are the top dogs. Hard-nosed, grit, grind football. They put up a lot of points. They're flat. They're not that flashy. It's day in, day out. 100, 110, 120 points. You're going to need to be able to score, and you need that dangerous threat element where you could score 150 points any day of the week. So, Omar, I'm sorry, but your team has been falling. Ryman, another guy, fallen a lot, down 6 spots in the power ranking. Tom has not been kind to Ryman this week, moving him down into E tier. And I think now, when I look at this playoff picture, this with, I think, maybe the exception of Connor his score last week wasn't that good. You know what? I actually think that this is a reasonable look at how I think people are going to do in playoffs. I think Terry, like Papa T, is going to do well in playoffs. I think Tom and Ty probably going to win their games, right? Jordan, Ivany, Matt, and Jer, unfortunately, yeah, they're probably going to have to play each other, which sucks. But I do think that they're strong, and if this was open, they would do very well. Am I saying that I'm going to win the championship? No, by no means. But if I had to say who at the very least wins their first game of playoffs, yeah, this is kind of what it looks like. I think that Tom and Alex, you guys did an excellent job on this power ranking sheet. These, I think, are the people who I find the most dangerous, and the teams that I probably wouldn't want to play against as they consistently put up wins and consistently put up points. So if you're probably in this C or higher, yeah, that's exactly right. Everybody else is kind of fighting, and there's a big mix, which I kind of like that there's a huge discrepancy, that the top is very small. And normally I would like to see balance throughout the year, but I think as the year progresses, it should be more clear-cut on who's better and who's not as you get more and more data, and I think that's exactly what this has shown, as when Tom debuted this, 3 or 4 weeks ago. There was a larger, like a middle class. I'm gonna call it middle class, where the B and C tier were much larger, and now we've started to see that actually more teams are falling into the E tier, and they're not sustaining. They're not sustainable growth models. So I love seeing this. I think this was such a great addition, Tom. I know Jake. Look, every week somebody's a little upset about their power ranking score, and this week it was Jake. Jake comes off big win against Matt Daly. Matt Daly is ranked way higher. Now, problem is that Jake has a much lower points for. He scored in the bottom half of the points for over the last couple weeks. So we have a trend. It's like breakdown wins, which is like your actual wins is worth 30% of your score, but your breakdown wins is I guess technically it's like just a derivative of like points for, but whatever. And I think that's a true measure of how you would have done over the week, just depending on because your actual wins is just who you played. Anyways, Jake was giving everyone a hard time about this, but I think this is right. Jake, yeah, you know what, you fell, but Ty did so much and Connor did so much in terms of their wins that I do think that it's important that they had moved up. Just sucks to be you, more or less. Like if we go into your score, yeah, see, like you are trending you're trending in the wrong direction, because you scored so low last week. But yeah, that's it. So, yeah, so that's the power rankings. I've got nothing else to say. I think this is an accurate representation of what the league looks like. I think you guys did such a good job. So that's it. That's all I got. We're gonna move into the awards next. So yeah. All right, so we have our Shockwave Player of the Week, the high voltage Player of the Week, and this can't go to anybody else but Mr. Play Boldly Jordan Ivany himself, our Flamin' Hot Cheetos Player of the Week last week. This man, oh baby, he is on a roll. He scored 152 points last week. He has been on fire. It's been hard to stop. He didn't play a very good opponent in Ryman last week, who didn't put up much of a fight, just kind of rolled over, said, yep, you know what? Take it. I don't need this. But Jordan Ivany with 152, can I get a ho ya? Oh yeah. Because he has been on a roll. And if I was in the other division, I am scared. And honestly, even in Division 1, if you look ahead and you're like, oh, you know what, I want to make a playoff push. You know what? Honestly, Jordan Ivany is the one team that you're hoping he gets knocked out early on in playoffs, because you do not want to face him later on in the year. He's a monster right now. He's only been trending up. He's got the sky's the limit for this guy, and it's unbelievable. So yeah, Jordan, you get the high voltage Player of the Week this week, without a question. That's not even close. I do want to give a shout out to I want to shout out the large penis team. Liam, you had a great week, but I think Jordan almost scored this exact same amount of points with you without the PPR. So yeah, he gets it this week, which is unbelievable. So much harder to do. And then also shout out to the Lords team scoring 140 points. That's not easy. Those scores are not easy to pull off. Both those teams managed to upset the other who they were playing against, but it just doesn't compete. This dude, he's just Jordan Ivany, man. Like, no. I don't know if you guys can hear that one, but that's a nut sound. So Jordan Ivany, congratulations, you are the high voltage Player of the Week. All right, and now it's time for the... Where is it? Shit.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
The idiot of the week. Yeah, you know what? Looking around the league, this actually was a really hard one to find. Really, the only other person it could be was I chase young kids. I mean, it could be a couple people. It could be I chase young kids. He benched Elijah Moore, and I honestly I don't like playing players on bad teams. But over his last 4-5 weeks, he's been averaging well over 10 points a game, like definitely double digits. Benching him might not be the move. He gets a ton of receptions, but yeah, you know what? Like Jets player, I get it. Hard to put up. And I would have put him here, but you know what? We can let that slide. It could have been Yokiro Taco Bell not playing Darrell Williams. That's a stretch, though. Darrell Williams is the backup. He's getting almost just as many touches as Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but it's not. His production hasn't been as consistent. So you know what? Yeah, maybe you go with somebody else. Give someone else a chance. But you know what? The
What are you?
An idiot sandwich. Idiot of the week. The idiot sandwich of the week. I actually think has to go to. Hold on, I'm gonna show you this because we're gonna go into this week's. Where are you? Jake sucks. Ryman, you get the idiot of the week, and the reason. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn it. Okay, well, turns out I'm the idiot of the week this week. And because when I looked through here, and I was going through the game center, well, it only says you have 4 bench spots, but I guess when you go through the history, if you drop somebody on your team, it doesn't show up here, but it doesn't have the new player added in this old game center part, I don't believe. So, yeah, you know what, Ryman? It looks like I'm probably the idiot of the week because I thought it was you, but it looks like you have 5 bench spots, which is exactly the amount you're supposed to have. I made a mistake. Jordan, you are the idiot of the week.
An idiot sandwich.
For sure. I get the shame bell. I get it all. Yeah, like, oh. Looking at this roster, this is exactly what was going through my head. Oh, that's embarrassing. Okay, well, I won the idiot of the week. This week was really hard to pick one because everybody was so chock full of buys. And it's like if I looked at like anybody who started a player with a 0 or a really low score, their bench had nothing else to offer. Like everybody's benches were basically 0 last week. If some, like I was looking, Papa T played Adam Thielen, who got hurt on like the first or second snap of the game, so and was taken off. So yeah, he got a 0, but that's not, you can't predict that. So you know what? I get the idiot of the week for thinking that Ryman was gonna have only 4 bench players and not have 5. That's it. That's all I get. So yeah, congratulations to myself. I played myself essentially. Okay, so I don't think it's any surprise who the Flamin' Hot Cheetos Player of the Week is going to be. There's a couple people that could get honorable mentions. Jair's up there. I mean, I'm loosely up there. I wouldn't put myself as that strong. But realistically, we all know it's Jordan Ivany. This dude has pulled 5 wins out of nowhere. After starting the year abysmally poor, he has just laid it on thick. Now he is facing some buys this week, so maybe this cools him off. As it looks like none of these players are going to be playing. None of his bench players will be playing. So there's no opportunity for Idiot of the Week for this guy. But his team has been on fire lately. I mean, we can go into the power rankings. We can go into checking out his last points for, and it has been filthy. Here, where is he? Jordan Ivany. Here, check this out. The average, just so you know, is about 94. So he's been above average in his last 4 games, which is all, and obviously all of them have been wins. So congrats, Jordan. You are definitely our flamin' hot Cheetos Player of the Week, and you've earned it. Maybe the only other I'm gonna give like a whatever nomination, like a what are they called? When it's like you didn't quite win, but you deserve a little recognition, is the Quinnell Quicksand. You've put together an impressive performance, and now you're fighting for a chance to be in first. Tom really feeling the heat from your flaming hot Cheetos after his big loss last week. So, hey, anything happens in playoffs. Yeah, Connor, you deserve like a little nod. I forget what they're called. Anybody, you guys, whatever. Who cares? Yeah, flaming hot Cheetos Play of the Week. Congrats, Jordan. And of course, now we move into the Chirp of the Week, and it's no surprise. Jake was bitching about the power rankings. And so Dally with the clap back. I kicked Dally's ass, no luck needed. And Tom just chucks Jake off the cliff. Oh, this one had me in an uproar. I showed Julia this, and she just doesn't understand. She just doesn't get it. But I show her these things so just to make myself entertained. But Dally, yeah, you definitely win the chirp of the week. That's crazy, bro. Your memes on point. Have to say it. So, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the primetime game of the week. We have a couple games this week because everybody's fighting for playoffs. They're all trying to jockey for position. The first one I'm going to kick off with is the hottest team in the league right now. Play boldly, Jordan Ivany, playing me, Jordan Sterling, to swift kick to the nuts. This is the number 1 seed versus the hottest team, 2 Titans battling it out. I can't wait to see what Jordan brings. I think it's going to be good. His games I'm a little scared. He's been having quite the run lately. And you know what? But when you're taking on the champ, you got to bring your best. So good luck, Jordan. You're going to suck, so I'm not that worried. Other game to watch is Matt Dally versus Ryman. I Chase Young Kids versus Jake Sucks. 2 8-5 teams jockeying for position in their divisions. Huge ramifications in playoffs. In the other guys, we're watching Spread Cheeks and Papa T. These are 2 Titans in their own right. Papa T is he's been hot. He's cooled off lately, but his team is still on fire. He has 2 losses, but don't let that deceive you because every person on his team is scoring almost 20 points. Now, Tom, on the other hand, has been cooling down a little bit, and he looks a little vulnerable. So Papa T looking to make a push and a statement with a big win, cap off the year on a win. Tom looking to regain some momentum. And of course, with that game, we can't go without talking about Quinnell Quicksand, Connor Pico. He's hoping for a win, and he's hoping for a Tom loss. So that is what our games look like this weekend. Those are the ones we're going to be watching closely. My name is Jordan. I have been so proud to be the voice of the league this year. This is the last week before playoffs. Of course, we have huge things planned for next week. So make sure you guys are staying tuned. Like and subscribe to the video so you get notifications when I drop new ones, which is every week on Thursdays, more or less. Sometimes Fridays, depending on how busy I am. But yeah, anyways, thanks guys. This has been a blast. I look forward to meeting everybody in playoffs. So peace. Go Bombers.